Thank you so much for joining me today for this beautiful conversation. So, welcome.
Thank you so much, Ranjini. An absolute pleasure on a Friday evening.
Yeah. And for all the people who are listening to this live or over a replay, I'm Ranjini Sanjay, and we are in the Real Entrepreneur Show. And I have Gunjan from Mumbai. So we met in a common community of women entrepreneurs, and there she is to share her story, her business, her vision with all of us here. So before we run into the questions, I want you to introduce yourself so that people can get related with you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hello and very good evening, or whatever time in the day you watch this, to everyone. My name is Gunjan. I'm a brand strategist, copywriter, and a mentor, educator as well. Right? I run Copy Love, which is my boutique. Brand strategy and communication studio where we craft clear purpose led communication for our clients. I've helped global brands, MSMEs, and many other startups articulate who they are and communicate with intention. I'm also a very passionate educator and mentor with platforms like Google for Startups, Vadvani Foundation, and her entrepreneurial network, Henware. Shout out Vermi and
Yeah.
Saranjini as well, right? And also I communicate and I also educate students across colleges that include I am Mumbai JJ School of Arts, Miami's Art School, and so on and so forth. So that's a great passion area as well. In short, my work is driven by one belief that every time you are clear about who you are and what you want to do in the world, you're able to build a better brand. So thank you so much,
Yeah.
Ranjit. It's an exciting offer, an opportunity for me to be here. I look forward to our conversation today.
Yeah. I think there's a lot in common when it comes to what we are working and why we are working. Or no. And anyway, we will run into the details. So,
Yes.
branding is something that is common that we are, as educators, we are working. So, I want the audience to know like where generally people go wrong when it comes to branding. And
Mhm.
I think as 2026 is approaching post
Mhm.
pandemic, I think we have moved beyond the new normal also.
Yes.
So, it's time, it's a good time to reflect on,
Yes.
where we are as a business and, what kind of brands are we building. So, tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So, since you said that it's 2026, 2026 is coming in, it's a reflective time. I want to say that, branding is all about reflection first. And I feel that is an understanding that most people go wrong with. People just, or anyone, anyone who's lesser informed, I would say, just goes ahead and says that, oh, I want a logo and that's my branding, or I want a brochure and that's my branding, or I want a website and that's my branding, right?
Mhm.
And the thing that I'm really here to say, first of all, gets encapsulated by this very nice quote that goes by the, that goes on to say that, a brand is a story, and the design is the storytelling, right? And very obviously, what comes first is the story. It's first who you are, what you want to share with the world, and then when that clarity is achieved, that reflection is done, is that your design or any other kind of communication can fall into place, right? To take back the reflective, the reflection point of view, branding is a lot more inner work than what we credit it to be or understand it to be, right? A lot about what you are really doing and how you're really doing it, why you choose to do it this way, right? It's a lot of invisible reflective work, inner work, guided work that ideally one should do as an understanding of their brand. What are they really bringing to the table? What does the customer want? And is what they are bringing to the table, is it overlapping? Is it making sense? Is it fitting in? Right? All of that inner understanding comes first, right? And then only once that whole picture is clear, is it advisable to go into any form of expression or any form of communication, right? So very, very important to first understand your own intent, see what you're doing, why you're doing, and then get into design or any other form of communication. And I feel that's the place that most people go wrong with in terms of branding.
So very beautifully said, because I know I really don't have a better person to validate this today, because when I started with my own brand a few years back,
Mm,
as a founder, my focus was all about what I'm going to create in this world, as a business, and the visuals, the logo. I never really gave a good thought around it, but there is another clan of entrepreneurs जो पहले ही ये attempt करते हैं, let me do the
right.
logo, let me do the website first,
Correct.
and probably I have maybe used very ordinary visuals around how I represent my brand, but my intent and my why was rather more driving and strong when it comes to whatever I have built today. And
Correct.
I remember, I think it was 2024.
Mm,
Early somebody approached me and said, "No, you are a eight-figure brand, and your visual doesn't look like that." No, so people, I don't want to name the company, but still, somewhere I felt ki it is not important.
yeah.
Visual, no offense around people who are visually great, create amazing designs, and I know the passion that goes in designing such amazing logos and website. But somewhere no there was I really didn't have that drive to really work on the visuals, and maybe I'm not still done yet. I'm
Yeah.
still using my own
Yes.
creativity to because the intent is there. So
Mm.
I want to know, like, if at all the why is absent, how does it silently kill a brand, like in your perspective? I
Oh,
want.
what an exciting question. Before I go there, Ranjini, I want to give another example of the previous piece that you were asking me around. What is a cardinal mistake in, let's say, branding before people go into design? And one great way that I can explain this is also, you know, um, think of a blue denim and a white shirt, right? It's a pretty common choice for people,
Yeah.
right? And how that very simple attire can look so different on different people, right? It's because we are all different people and we all think differently, right? And even when we are flaunting the same attire, we still bring our own characteristic quality to those to that expression, right? And branding is just like that, right? Branding
Yes.
is really an expression of who you are and what you have come, why you have started this business, what you are really set out in this world to do, right? To, really put it a bit poetically, you are really a voyager, a sailor in the sea. And
Yeah.
why have you set sail, right? That expression, once you are clear with that expression, no matter what you wear, whether you wear a blue denim and a white shirt or any other attire, it will always reflect your uniqueness. Otherwise, you may never know why this color belongs to you, or why this kind of a language belongs to you, or why something is your brand and something is not, right? So overall understanding of what you're here to do, right, is super super important, which is what also brings me to your question, right? The absence of a why. Now let me explain this concept in some detail around what is this why that I also
Mhm.
mentioned in my answer, and you are also talking about, right? So this goes back to a very popular concept in a lot of my classes that I take and a lot of my client interactions also. I quote a very famous and a very popular marketing genius of our times called Simon Sinek, right? He is the one who propounded the concept of why, right? Very simply put, there is a concept, there is a framework around which he does it, but I'll just break it down very very simply. And he says that people don't buy what you do, right? People buy why you do it, right? So the whole point being that let's say I have this mug, right? People are not going to buy this mug because it is such and such mug, right? But people start buying your mugs when they start believing in the philosophy with which you've made this mug, or the philosophy with which you have spoken about the brand that makes this mug, right? Only today I was buying a mug for a friend, and there were these 3 4 brands that I selected from. Why did I only choose those brands, and why did I think that, oh, that particular mug brand is going to be very suitable for my friend who has this particular way of thinking or this particular taste in life, right? Rather than just buying something off the road, right? And there will be a certain friend who might actually like something off the road as well, right? So for different people, I'll buy different things. Reason being that these brands, they know their why. uh,
Mhm.
Point being that, when we say why, the easiest question that I like to ask is, any brand should think of three things, right?
Mhm.
What are they here to do, right? What
Mhm.
are they all about, right? The easiest example that I love to give is that of a chai wala. Okay, you ask any chai wala, right? Everybody can say, what are you here to do? I'm making chai, right?
Mhm.
Most people can answer that. All people can answer that, right? If you are running a business, you can certainly say what you are doing. And then when you ask, okay, how are you making the chai? Some chai walas may rubbish the question. Ki, what is it? I make chai the way chai is normally made. Or
Mhm.
some chai walas may say that, oh, you know what, my Bap Dada had this interesting recipe which I try to,
Yeah.
emulate and copy and bring it to the table. So fewer chai walas can answer, how they are doing what they are doing. And very few chaiwalas, if you now ask them, why do you do it? Most will not have an answer. But some brighter chaiwalas, for example, can have an answer that, you know, I just make chai because I like it when my customers come and they go back
Mhm.
and smile, right? And that can be such a beautiful reason that the chaiwala loves to wake up in the morning and come to the come to his store and sell his offering, right? And this is by no means an offense to anything, but what I meant to say is that any and every brand exists with a certain purpose, right? And that why is super super important for us to know, reflect and identify, right? All of us can talk about what we do, all of us can talk about our SOPs, our processes, our value propositions, our USPs, everything. But many times I have seen the best and the most proficient of people, the most expert people, knowing everything around about everything. But if I ask them, okay, why are you really doing this? What is it that wakes you up in the morning in terms of the customer, right? Of course somebody may say, oh, I love to invent, right? Which
Yeah.
is right, but how is that invention really serving people, right? That why becomes super super important. Okay, I would
Mhm.
like to give one more example to again explain this at such a base level. The reason I gave the chai example is that it is such a beautiful operative concept at the most basic level, right? So there was a time when NASA was sending man to the moon for the first time, right? And Kennedy had paid a visit to NASA, right? And of course he was asking questions to all the different scientists, and they all had their very complicated answers around, okay, this is the rocket, this is the formula, etc etc. And
Mhm.
while going from one meeting room to the other, he met a janitor who was
Mhm.
cleaning up the floor, and he asked him that, why do you work here? He must have expected an answer like, I'm possibly keeping the place clean, I'm making scientists, their work easy. And he ended up saying that, I'm here because I'm sending man to the moon, right? And that's the beauty of knowing your why. Every single person is empowered, every person who's buying from you, relates to that why. Every single person who's um, working with you relates to the why, right? So that's the beauty of finding your why and going ahead with it, right? And which is why the converse is also true, that if you don't have a strong why, you
Mhm.
become a big killer, right? Yeah, and when you have a why, suddenly you are no longer a slave to trends. You are no longer a slave to, oh, I want to make that viral video today, right?
Mhm.
And what happens, ideally, is that once your why is so strong and all your action is moving around that why, you might just touch the virality, not because you made the video to become viral, but because you made it true to yourself, right? It's the best long term formula, is what I like to say, and it really helps cut through the noise. So,
Yeah.
long answer, but very, very important concept, and I'm really very passionate about it, and set to call it.
So I completely get it because this is something I also practice, and I also teach my students who are here to build legacy brands. So it's something that you're building beyond your lifetime. So so it is a different game that you're playing here.
Yes.
So, for all the people who are listening here, if you are really looking at this conversation at a like what's happening with you as a consumer or a customer, we can look at the brands we own already. So there are two ways to look at these choices. Like why we buy a certain brand is as you said, we are a conscious buyer because we are creators also. So we know, we are at a consciousness level where we really think so deep when we associate with people, with things, with businesses. But
Yes.
the unconscious buyers,
Mm.
even if they're not conscious about why they are buying, but they can find a connection if they really
Yes.
look at the brand values of the things they have got.
Yes.
It's as simple as the soap that you use to the tea that you drink, or a coffee, or maybe the car that you own. Everything that you have has a connection with the brand. So maybe all those who are listening can simply go and check like
Yes,
what
in fact, the thing I love to say is that it's just like making a friend, right? Sometimes you can be very particular, ki, I only need this kind of a person to be my friend, in which case you're very conscious. I mean, how you are saying that sometimes you may just make a friend. You may not think about it. But once you sit and reflect that what is it that really, was magnetic about the other and why I could vibe with that person, is because somewhere something was common, right? That why was common. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? If you like similar movies, or if you like to go to similar places, some whys would surely be common, exactly as you said.
Yeah. And let's come back to the founders and creators of businesses and brands. So, if as they're watching this, or this conversation, or listening to this, if you are really reflecting, like sometimes, often in the roller coaster ride of entrepreneurship, you may tend to deviate
Mhm.
from why you're doing what it happens. Being human is possible, but if somebody is getting distracted or diluted somewhere, the brand messaging is getting diluted, so how do they get started to bring clarity in coming back? Because this could be an exercise we can take
Yes.
every year at least. I would say. Yeah.
Absolutely agreeing. No, what you're mentioning is, as you rightly said, it's very human, right? It happens all the time. In fact, I would say that it really happens all the time, right? Um, Rather than not happen, like, it's more frequent for it to happen than to not happen. And trust me, it happens to the best of brands, right? Um, my what has worked, and what my recommendation would be, to always, as I started the talk, I said in the very beginning that branding is all about reflection, right? It's not about doing one thing after the other and rushing and just closing things because you have to close them, right? There is a lot of reflective thinking, and here again the reflection comes into play, right? So certainly it is absolutely worth to take a step back, right? And to really step away from everything that is happening, right? And see why the message is getting scattered, right? There could be multiple reasons. There could be because of your own unclarity, right? Two, there could be a rush to release things on time, and hence just let's put together something. Sometimes the reason can also be that you are trying your best to fit that messaging into various media, right? Or to various platforms, that, oh, okay, if this is a short text platform versus this is a long form platform, and all of that, right? Now, one may think, and this is a very important point that I want to share, that one may think that I have to meet the deadline, right? And I have to release something by something, and hence by some date, and hence कुछ भी करके निकाल दो types, right? Many times we also hear that from a client, that I just need to push this out, so just slap this message that this much percent off or whatever, and just put it out there because it needs to go on time, right? As a result of which, many times this messaging becomes scattered, right? We have to understand the cost of doing something like this, the cost of not sitting back and really evaluating your brand, the cost of not sitting back, setting, you know um, strong guidelines, the cost of sitting back and not really absorbing your why, right? And really becoming your why, right? um, the cost is a lack of trust, right? If the customer, so our customers today are super scattered themselves, right? Now, if as a scattered customer I am reading a scattered message, it's a true clash, nothing will work out, right? um, Rather, what the scattered customer needs today is a consistency, right? And when the same consistency is seen across for the brand, suddenly the trust starts building, right? There is a research by Edelman Trust called the Trust Barometer. They have a trust barometer where every year they study various things around brand trust, right? And one of their recent surveys has said that 81%, like 81 is a whopping number, it's nearly 100% of customers need, consumers, yeah, they need to first trust a brand before they purchase, right? Today more than ever, right? And hence one needs to understand that in that rush, what am I bargaining against? I'm letting go of trust, which is my most important currency today, right? So it's absolutely well worth to just take a deep breath, go back, think about your brand, right? And one big another explanation that I want to talk about in brands is that, and again I go back to your first question, which was actually such a great one, is that a brand is not your design, the brand is not your text. If you do that, or if you come from that perspective, it is bound to get scattered, because a design will look great today, it will not look great tomorrow to you, right? A brand is, when somebody truly becomes their brand now, it shows in everything, right? It shows in not only your design, it also shows in the way you walk, you talk, you behave, you show up, every single thing, right? That's the power of your brand. And when you have articulated it, or rather immersed yourself in it so much, then you will have a natural filter, right? And that's when you will only release stuff that feels true to you and true to your brand. And that's when the scattering starts to reduce. You innately know कि यार ये मेरे brand का ये मुझे ठीक लग रहा है, or this I'm not liking. And from there what starts emerging is a is a true, strong and consistent brand. Otherwise this whole thing na, it keeps getting confused if you rush it. So branding is not something to be rushed. I don't mean that don't meet timelines. I mean that first absorb it, become your brand, really understand what your brand is out here to do, and then go at it full throttle. But first take the time to understand it and breathe it.
Yeah. So, having said that, I think when every business is having a face behind, the company or the logo. Now there is personal branding is, I think, something we cannot ignore in the era where we are today. So
Yeah.
so we want to be connected. There is a human, there is a face, there is a voice, there is a message, there is a story to the brand. So that builds the relationship and connection with the consumer, and eventually they as your relationship builds, the trust also
Yes.
builds. So share an example. Let's say if you have something to share, like something that you worked upon through your branding expertise, and
Hmm.
there was no change in their growth
Hmm.
trajectory. If you have an example or a case study,
Sure, sure. I would first like to begin, because the concept is a bit deeper. I would like to begin with a couple of brands that we have not directly worked on, but couple of examples that I was really impressed by, and I thought they were great ways to reflect, what uh, the why is all about and what great branding can really create, right? Um, the first example is a very common global brand, and I love to use this example everywhere because it just clarifies the concept in an instant, right? Is Nike, right? Its why is very, very strong. It says that it exists to bring innovation and inspiration to every athlete in the world, right? And that is a good, is already a strong why, right? But it really flips it, or it really adds a really genius stroke to its mission or to its why, by saying that if you have a body you are an athlete. Like that's the only qualification you need to be an athlete, right? And that itself is such a strong thing, and that has shifted its whole trajectory, right? All its communication is now around inclusive athletes, sometimes about normal people. It's not just something very highly sporty and something very highly exciting in that sense, right? So it just generalizes the brand so beautifully that suddenly it becomes accessible to everyone, right? And that comes from its why, right? Another example I would like to give is an Indian brand, actually two Indian brands, if you don't mind, and then I'll go to my brand. Right? So
sure.
So the one ad is, the whole Tata tea movement, right? Tea can be a very very cluttered category, as we all know. In India, so many brands, right? And all of them are talking about the taste and all that, right? And Tata tea, a few years back, it started its campaign on Jagore, if you remember, right?
Mhm.
Suddenly it shifted tea from taste and, oh, this is delicious tea, oh, this is, a morning refresher, to something that became an awakening. So the whole Jagore statement itself, it came from such a deep why, that why does this tea brand has to exist? There are so many tea brands anyway. This tea brand needs to exist because it is here to awaken people in various ways, right? And that's where the Jagore campaign started, right? Two after effects, it not only did it have 28 lakh first time voters, right, coming in and saying that, what, we want to vote, right? But it also really improved the market performance so much for Tata Tea. It was a, game changer for them, all because they had a very deep and a clear understanding of why they want to do what they want to do, right? um,
Yeah.
an example that really comes to mind is not a communication example, but an example of when you know your why, how it can influence not just your communication like Jagore, right? But it can also influence your innovation, right? Before I take this example, I just wanted to clarify one thing which a lot of viewers might be thinking as they listen to this, is that, these are all great big brand examples, it's very easy for them to do all this, right? How will we do it, right? What I want to say is that it's not the execution that I'm talking about. I'm talking about their clarity of thought from day one, right? Nike did not think of its vision or its why now after becoming a big brand. It started off with that thought, right? And similarly, of course, Tata Tea I understand is a big brand, but the thought, you know, they came back to a basic idea, and from there they started it off, right? So what I mean to say is that the scaling sure is a factor of how big or small of a kind of a company you are, or the size of the company that you are, but the thought process can still be in its right place, right? And that can ensure that you're standing or you're starting off on a good footing. That's what I mean to say, right? So the example that I really want to share is, as I said, of a business innovation, right? So this was at the time when, the whole demonetization thing was starting off, and the whole QR codes were coming into fashion, right? And a lot of brands, were trying to ensure that all the storekeepers keep the QR code, right? They start transacting digitally, right? Now there was this one particular brand which tried to understand that why are shopkeepers or store owners not accepting this whole concept. There was a lot of initial resistance, right? And when they went into the why, when they tried to understand it, why are people not doing this, they realized that the desi shopkeeper is used to feeling cash in hand. वो
Yeah.
हाथ में they like to feel it. They like the sound of coins hitting their ears and saying that, oh, this transaction is completed, right? And that's when Paytm released what is called as the sound box. Today, if you realize the sound box, every time the transaction is made, the ching sound comes. And
Yes.
this is a message that comes that आपके इसमें इतने पैसे प्राप्त हुए, or whatever, in English or any
Mhm.
regional language. Now that was became a validation to the storekeeper कि हाँ, I received my money. Yes, I heard the notification. Right? So converting that QR into a sound box, I thought was a fantastic innovation. And it could only be possible because these people dug into the why, tried to understand the actual challenge, and work on that insight, and then come out with a uh, innovation like that, yeah, and hence creating the market dominance.
Yeah.
Okay. The example I want to give, from something that we worked on is a lovely success story that we have of a global brand, right? It's a beverage brand, global, very favorite beverage brand of the world, right? They came to us 4 years back, right? Saying that, that externally the brand enjoys a lot of good branding, right? But internally they felt that, you know the whole their own bottlers ecosystem, right, could do with a lot better consolidation, right? And they could do much better by everybody coming together, feeling a sense of pride that, hey, you know what, through our bottling plant every day, we are serving this brand, we are making a global winner. Okay, so at that time, what they were doing is um, they had a basic PDF that would go out to the entire ecosystem, the bottlers and the other ecosystem, saying that, hey, you know what, this quarter we did all of these different things. Now we stepped in and we said that, hey, you know what, can we change the format of this as a PDF to something which is unique today, which is a magazine, an actual, real paper magazine, right? Which people can see, feel, and change, right? And why? Because this was it became a very real world acknowledgement of the kind of work that these bottlers were putting together to build the biggest cola brand in the world, right? And we created this magazine, right? Magazine started small. Okay, today 16 issues later, it has become a global product, which started in India, but now covers stories from across the
Yeah.
South Asia region, and it's a magazine that goes out to the global headquarters and all across, this beverage brand. Right, it's a great success story. It is built on the why. Why? Because people wanted to see themselves out there. So today the magazine features interviews of bottlers. The magazine features all the different recognitions that we are creating for the bottlers, all the different ways in which we are enabling the bottlers, stories from elsewhere, that where all has our brand reached, so that the bottlers feel the pride that this is what they are really bringing to the table. They are not just sending out bottles from their plant, but they are really sending out smiles and all those happy festive moments to the world, right? So again, because this was so deeply in I would say embedded in the why, right? So that's what became possible due to the understanding of why. So yeah, these are long answer again, but I thought these are some fantastic examples where brands have been able to make a great deal of difference just from their clarity of why.
Yeah. So, no, this is very important, like these examples that you shared. And when, no, when you meet the market where
Mhm.
it needs, and the brand itself feels, feel seen, feel heard, feel valued, feel recognized.
True.
That's where it, breathes life. Like, it keeps growing and thriving. So,
So true.
so uh, having the foundation, always, like from the start, like from day one, the foundation is set, the clarity is set. And when you solve the problems in the market, like where it needs, because trends and times keep changing, we have to evolve, do innovations to still
Yes.
solve those problems. And eventually it's all about feeling seen, heard, valued, and recognized,
True.
for the brand, for the enablers, and even the customer being served. Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So, moving on, Gunjan, I want to know where you are most active on social media, where people can find you, and what
Yes.
are the services that you offer. So,
Okay.
share a little bit about that also.
Sure, sure, absolutely. So there are two aspects of me that you see today. So one is as the founder of my boutique brand strategy and communications company, where we are heavy into brand building brands with clarity. Um, Creating their brand strategy, which basically defines their purpose. As I said, the why, right?
Yeah.
A lot of deep thinking goes into that. And from that why derives the positioning, the brand story, the narrative. What are you really telling the world, which is different from what any other brand that is similar to you is saying, right? There are copies of brands today, or there are so many brands doing the same thing that you're doing. How can you
Yes.
present yourself differently? So that's a core element of what we do. However, the other element of what we do is also brand communication, right? Which is the expression of the brand in the form of a website, in the form of a brochure, in the form of a publication, in the form of any other internal communication. So any other way in which the brand communication that you require, right? All of that is something that we do. The difference and the value that we bring is that everything is very strategic and well thought out. So if you ask us tomorrow that, hey, you know what, I have to make a website, or I have to get copy written for a website, we will just not start suddenly and just not start putting pen to paper. We will always ensure that what we are doing is very strategic, very thought through, and very specific to the customer. uh, Beyond that, my agency, we are collaborative, right? In nature, because we work in a very niche area, and to be able to bring wider solutions to our clients, we like to collaborate with like-minded partners. We are also a remote company, one of the earliest remote. We have been remote ever since our inception, much before COVID, which is close to 11 years ago now. Right. We are also an all-women team, incidentally, a lean one. And as a trivia about us, we are 1% of every invoice that we bill goes to the welfare of animals, street animals, and it's a cause we are very passionate about. That is one aspect of what I do, right? So this is my company. My website is www.copylove.in. Copylove is my company name. So COPYLOVE.in is my company. Anyone is please welcome to visit there, reach out to us, read more about us, right? However, that website is undergoing a change, so in a couple of months we'll see a new version of that. So that's one part of what I do. The second part that I'm now building over the last few years is this whole excitement of, and this whole passion to take this message that, technically what we are talking about today, Ranjini, take this whole message to MSMEs around the world, around, at least around India first to start with, right? And smaller businesses and startups around India, because I feel that their products and the kind of blood, sweat, and tears that, we as entrepreneurs put into a product is absolutely unmatched. And the least they deserve is a is a way to communicate that properly, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes does not happen because they don't know branding, and they don't know that they need some basic branding principles to be able to express their proposition correctly, right? So
Mhm.
something as simple as an elevator pitch, right, which is so critical in any place, any networking group or anything, any elevate any exhibition that they may go to, etc. So this is something that I mentor in a lot of both businesses as
Mhm.
well as a lot of communities and accelerators, right? It's an area of great joy and great passion for me, and I continue to do that, right? I'm also an educator in the same space. I'm also an educator across a few colleges where I teach branding, marketing, in the same way. So there are essentially these two parts. One is the service through my company, and one is this personal passion for medicating and mentoring. I'm on LinkedIn with my name Gunjan Pai, and very much very active, quite rather active on LinkedIn, and I can be
Wonderful.
found there for sure. So, yeah.
Wonderful. So before we close the conversation, one question around women founders. Like having worked with women founders, what are the what challenges? What do you see things differently with them when
Yeah.
you're working and how building their personal brands or businesses? So what do you
Yes.
find?
Yes, absolutely. No, this is as much as an answer to myself, and I'm also in the process of growth. But yes, absolutely, I am a huge champion of women's leadership, being a woman myself, and seeing that we as women have so much capability, but we just don't express it, right? Sometimes we may even lack belief in it. That can I really do it? And so important to come out of that. Even when you come out of that, it's so women have this double layer of, oh, do I really want to express it, right? And hence really looking that way, and really expressing that becomes so important. And what I again believe, and so beautifully um, intertwined with branding, is that a brand story is incomplete without the founder's story. And very often I will you will notice, and this can be true of any founder, whether male or female, but sometimes more in females, more poignant stories exist in women, the kind of things that they have navigated to be able to do their business, the kind of heart and soul they are able to bring to the business, you know without being as I said, both genders are the same, but there is this little extra sometimes that women can add in terms of the heart and soul in a business, right? So when they add their own story to their brand story, now it just gets a new beautiful flavor, right? And I believe that's also, it's a mix, right? It's a mix of feminine energy and masculine energy. And that I believe is very very beautiful in women, and hence I'm always so, passionate that, let's bring ourselves out, let's not hold back, and let's enrich our brand by adding our own story to our brand story, and then the beauty that emerges becomes rather unparalleled and quite beautiful, and that's what the world deserves to see.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. So, thank you so much for sharing all these beautiful insights. It was, for me, it is not less than a masterclass to be
Oh,
here and listening to you. Uh, and before we wrap up, I just want you to share your message to the audience as they are listening. There are people listening till the end. So, any message that you have, and do answer the questions if there are any on the comment sections when you go back and watch it. Yeah.
yes, sure. I will be sure to do that. And first of all, thank you to any and everyone who's patiently heard us through. I hope you've taken back some nuggets. 2025, we're at the end of it, and we are entering a new year. So maybe a couple of things we can leave behind in 2025 in terms of branding are, firstly, the understanding that branding is not an overnight wonder. It's not like if you stop thinking about it, if you start thinking about it today, by tomorrow your brand will be made. It needs reflection, it needs cultivation. I would really request and really urge all our viewers today to take out some conscious time and thinking to think about what kind of brand you want to build, right? Jeff Bezos has said that a brand is who you are when people talk about you in a certain way even when you're not in the room, right? And I'm sure all of us want only the best words to be spoken about us, but that's not going to come magically. That will only come when you know like it's like a tree, right? The more every time you put fertilizer, you put water, only then will it grow into something beautiful. So that's what a brand is, and let's be super super mindful of that. And here's happy brand building to everyone listening in.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. And people who are, inspired, or maybe, maybe thinking like, you need to talk to Gunjan, connect with her on LinkedIn. And looking forward to a great holiday season, Gunjan, for you, and a fabulous year ahead. Okay.
Thank you so much, Ranjini. Thank you so much for your kind wishes. Very, very wishing you the very same. And thank you once again for having me here today. I'm so, so honored and so excited to be here. It was a fantastic time speaking to you.
Yes. And now we'll meet again, maybe some other topic, some other time. But till then, bye for now.
Goodbye. Thank you.